And hello, everybody.
Hello, Ray.
Welcome to another broadcast. Tonight, we are dancing through new times, thinking about how we move forward, how we can create something special for our students and our kids, and how we can keep everybody dancing. Tonight I have four, or actually with myself, there's four of us, but I have three guests. Welcome, you guys.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Ray.
Hi, guys. Thanks for being with us. Nadine, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, where your school is.
So I'm from Canada. My studio is Live to Dance Academy. So we're located in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. I am in my 7th year as a studio owner, and I have around 400 students that fill our classrooms and hallways with lots of energy and excitement. So as you can imagine, this has been a very interesting journey for being a newer studio owner. I imagine it's the same even if you've been in business for longer, but
You're smiling.
I'm smiling. I have lots to be smiling about, so.
I agree with that. There still is a lot to be grateful for. And I'll give you a little pat on the back for being in business 7 years and having 400 kids, okay?
Thank you.
Pam, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Pam Simpson. I own Forte Art Center here in Illinois. I have 2 locations of dance, and I also have cheer. So at our studio, we have dance, music, and cheer. I'm in year 27 of owning the studio. We've had music for 7 years, and we just started the cheer this last year. So lots of different fun activities for the kids, but it's all just about inspiring them to be their very best. So I'm excited to be here and share some things that we've been doing with everybody.
Just because I want to follow up with you, how is cheer within the dance studio culture? Is it compatible? Is it popular?
It has been quite compatible. It is pretty popular. I came about it because there was a large cheer gym in our town, and the person that was running it had decided that it was too much business work for her to do. So she just said, if there's anybody that can take this over and make it work, it's you. So would you come on and take over this program? So that's what I did. So I took over an existing program and bought her out. And it's in a different facility that is got a full cheer studio with all the equipment and stuff, but it has been compatible and fun and challenging during this time, but we're making it happen.
Are you doing virtual with the cheer students as well?
Yes, we are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Lisa.
Hi, Ray. So, Ray, you and I go back till just a little bit after Project Motivate. Yeah. So
I know that, Lisa. It's been a long time.
Been a
I
good
feel
journey.
that way about Pam, too.
Yeah. Well, I'm Lisa Schumann, Dance Expression Dance Arts. I have been in business for over 33 years. And we have a little bit over 400 students, but it took me 33 years to get there, Nadine. So, but it's all good. And we're doing everything we can. Like I said, right away we went to virtual. I have a fabulous team. They all got on board, learned the technology, came up with good ideas as we were going along. I am so blessed, really. And I just wanted to share this. This was a quote that was shared with Pam and I actually today. It was by a gentleman named Jim Quick, and it was, "Don't downgrade your dream, upgrade your skill." And I thought, wow, that is something to share with all studio owners, because we've had to learn all this technology and new methods, and we just have to keep going that way. We've got to keep ourselves out there, keep the kids connected, keep them doing positive things so that they don't get depressed and lonely and isolated.
Agreed. And we're challenged or stretched beyond our boundaries. I see teachers who are puppeteering and reading stories, and where it reminds me of it's show business. And I don't mean that to demean the lessons being taught. I mean that to be that now is a time where we're entertaining, we're getting kids to smile, we're getting them to dance, and that's what's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
For sure.
For sure.
Okay, so you've all gone virtual. tell me, I'm going to do this kind of quick. Nadine, did you use Zoom or some other program?
We're using Zoom. Yeah.
Pam, what are you using?
For our virtual live classes, we're using Zoom and we're doing special pop-ups on Facebook Live.
Okay, in a minute, I'm going to ask you about pop-ups. Lisa Schumann, what are you using?
Yeah, same. We're using Zoom. We are doing pop-ups, but we're doing them on Zoom.
Okay. Tell everybody who's listening what a pop-up is.
Just a special gift performance or class, I should say. We've had some guest teachers come in. We've had hip hop classes for our parents. We've had Frozen Friends workshops. Princesses have shown up. Art classes, craft class, that kind of stuff. So.
And are you putting them out to the general public on your social media pages, or is it just within your studio?
We're still just inviting them to our studio.
Okay. Pam, what are some unique things you're doing for pop-ups?
So we, a lot like Lisa said, we're doing a lot of different things like that. I've have gone live on our public studio page a few times because we wanted to give to our community also. Some of our stuff is just for our population, but we've also just tried to give to our community because at this time we know a lot of kids are home and a lot of parents are home with their kids and need some kind of activity. So we've done some story time lives that way and some family dance parties for the kids that are a little bit more unique. We bring in a teacher and do an interview of the teacher to kind of get to know the teachers and the community to get to know what we're doing in our little world here. We do a theme of the week throughout our studio to begin with. And so we've kind of amplified what we do for our theme of the week, and we'll pull something out each week that we share with our community with that.
Excellent.
I think I've talked to you about those themes before,
but you're sticking to it and incorporating it into your virtual classes, yes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Nadine, what are you doing different within your classes or presentations other than your typical class?
Some things that we've added in, we also have, I guess they're considered pop-ups too. We're doing, I had our team one night, we had a really fun scavenger hunt that we set up, that was near the beginning before we started our classes. So that was actually a riot. We had so much fun. I have a vision board workshop coming up, and I'm also looking at doing a Mother's Day tea because Mother's Day is coming up next weekend. So I'm going to do something like that. I'm trying to do dance related things, but also just community related. On Easter, another one that we did, we had a bake and share. So my mom and I actually in our kitchen, we had it on Zoom and the kids came in and we did some baking. And I think for me, it's just keeping that sense of community. The kids love that. And sometimes those are the things that just keep them motivated on top of wanting to come to their classes. And that's pulling in our competitive and our recreational families, because I feel the competitive team is very connected, but the recreational is it's taking them a little bit longer to get on board with certain things. And I want them feeling inclusive. So I'm trying to find different ways to keep them engaged and part of the community of our studio.
Is that working for you? Are you able to offer activities where both the competitive and rec kids are there doing something together?
Yes, I am.
Smart move, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I only say that because I do think that the competitive kids, or the intensive kids as we call them, do separate themselves from the rec kids just because of how our schools are structured.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good opportunity to bring those groups together, because it's not about great dancing when it comes to cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let me ask you this. Are you feeling that the last week, or maybe even the start of this week, has been more of a struggle with your older kids? What's your answer to that? When somebody speak.
We're all nodding. I'll go first. I do think, that for the older kids, I think because they understand a little bit more about what's going on, that they're starting to feel the struggle a little bit. I've been doing one-on-one mentor meetings with the teenagers and just trying to meet with them and talk to them about what's happening. And what I learned from most of the time is that they are having trouble keeping a schedule. And so they feel like their wheels are coming off their car because they don't keep a schedule. And so they can't keep track and get things done. So if they don't have a schedule of when they're supposed to wake up in the morning, their e-learning starts later, then their e-learning goes right into dance, and then they feel kind of flustered by the time they get there. So what I've been doing in my mentor sessions is trying to talk to them about how important it is to just keep a schedule. And even though they don't want to wake up early in the morning, by 8 or 8:30, they should be at their table or their desk and have a designated spot where they are doing their homework and their e-learning, and then taking a break to do something fun, have lunch, and rest and recuperate before they go to dance, and go to a different space when they go to dance. And just having a schedule and a structure, because I feel like they're just all over the place without structure because they feel like they're on this like vacation almost. So when I've tried to give them those tips, I think it's helped them, because otherwise they just feel funky and off because they don't have their normal connection. In their class last week, I noticed they were like that, and I felt like they needed to laugh. So I did some fun activities to make them laugh. And as soon as they started laughing, then I saw the same kids that I've known for 15 years. But before that, I was like, who are these children? I don't know them. So I did some fun, crazy things with them in class to get them laughing, and then they turn into themselves again. So I think just a combination of making sure they're having fun and doing something out of the ordinary. One class I asked, do you guys really want to work on this technique, or would you like to just spend 5 minutes connecting with each other? And they said, actually, we would just like 5 minutes to talk to each other. And so I let that happen. So I think it's kind of like with the Generation Z anyway, they want to have a way to have their own voice, and they want to have input. So if you're asking them, what would you like? And normally you wouldn't, I just suggest ask what they want to do and give them a little bit of leeway, because they need some place to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. How about you, Lisa? You doing anything more, or are you just feeling it and
We've
trying
had
to
some,
figure it out?
yeah, we've had some calls with especially our graduating seniors for them to kind of just talk about everything they're going through, to explain how sad it is for them and how much loss they're feeling, and then also try to give them a perspective of the things that they do still have to look forward to. But they need, they need to just kind of get that out, to be heard, to have us understand that, to have us give them a big virtual hug, and then say, you still have, college to look forward to, and you're going to come back and dance in the alumni dance next year, and be part of the studio in every way possible. And if we can get you on the stage in December when you come home, if there's a way for us to create a show, we're going to give it to you. If you can't do your duet or your solo this year, when you come back for your alumni dance next year, we're giving you a spot in the recital next year. I mean, we're going to do everything we can for them. So, that's where we've kind of had to focus a little bit, because they're having the hardest time.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. This is going to be a senior year that will never be forgotten by the parents, the seniors, anyone else. But in my mind, I think way down the road, they'll be able to talk about how they had a unique graduation year. I know it's hard to think of that now, but I'm seeing drive-by graduations. I'm seeing people pulling off the celebration, and that will make memories.
They're
Yes.
making history.
Yes, they are. We all are.
Yeah.
I'll editorialize on that and say, I can't tell you how many posts that I've seen from parents who have, I'm paraphrasing, said, wow, if the rest of the world could have pulled off what dance studio owners have pulled off, we'd be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go us.
Go us. We did it. We had no choice. There were people I know who were virtual in 24 hours.
Yeah.
There was no break. We did it. So I want to ask you this. Are you running summer programs? And if you are, what are your plans? Meaning, are you going to go virtual with a strategy to go live if you can, or are you going to go virtual? tell me summer. Pam.
We have our summer pulled out a different way as of last week, and we have everything planned to go. We had it already in one way, and then we changed it last week, and then Friday we got the May 30th note for Illinois, so we went back again and restructured things. So anything that's happening before July 15th is all set to go virtual. If it has an option to go live in case we can, but after July 15th, things look live unless we need to go virtual. So basically, the first part of the summer is virtual with the live option. From the end of the summer, it's live with the virtual option. So that's kind of how we structured it.
I think you just made a point that's important. Even when we get back, I believe we're still going to need that virtual option.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, we're going to set our fall up the exact same way. Yeah, because you just don't know.
No, and you don't know whether there'll be some kids who would like to dance who may be more susceptible or have family members who are susceptible that want to keep dancing but are a little nervous to come into a studio, even if it's okay to come into a studio.
Yeah.
I think
I'm imagining you have at least a quarter of the people that will feel too nervous to come in.
I can't disagree.
Will you also, if I could just interject, would you also offer the option of either studying at home virtually or coming to the studio? Or then if you, like, I have a lot of large classes, which now I have to figure out, capacity with number restrictions to have kind of on and off weeks. Group A dances in the studio this week, and then group B dances in the studio next week, and the other group dances from home, something like that. It's just so much redoing. I don't know about my other two beautiful lady friends here, but it's maddening that we have to do all of this over again, right? Like I just had to get over that because we make all of our schedules so early and plan for the summer and make our flyers and do all these graphics and get so excited. And now we're like, oh, I have to do this all over again.
And from scratch. The spreadsheets we were used to, everything we had in mind just isn't going to work. It's from scratch. That's why we have a hard time, is because when you're a studio owner and you're doing a good job, you're always planning, you're always strategizing, you're always 6 months ahead of that show, you're 6 months ahead of registration. Here we are, not even knowing if we will have. We will have a registration, a typical registration. Okay, so my last question was
Summer.
Lisa, tell me what you're thinking summer.
We're similar to Pam. We're going to do some what we call like mini mesters in June, 3 or 4 days of classes, and then for probably 2 weeks. And then like they could, buy like blocks of classes, and then kind of take another break for a week or two, and then see if we can actually get into the studio for our regular program, which usually starts the second week in July through the third week in August for 6 weeks, but also plan on, bumping that back to virtual if we can't do it live, or splitting those classes like we just discussed as well. So, it's just making all those plans. And if I could just ask maybe later after you finish this, how are you guys going to work registration?
Well, we'll talk about registration.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I think it's a little early, but we'll talk a little bit about it. Nadine, you go for the question.
So our summer program, we kicked off a big early bird camp schedule that started actually in January and February. So we had a pretty outstanding promo going on, which actually filled almost our 6 weeks of summer camp. So in the last week, I've decided that we're going to be moving forward with that. Most likely it will be a virtual setting. And I'm going to make modifications to what those programs were, and giving some incentive to the families who have already registered, and then ones that will be extending that out to. I'm going to be running our summer camps. I was chatting about this at another call, and I mean, one of the things I'm going to do is the dancers that are, like if we have our princess camp, usually it's 5 days, they're in half a day. So we'll just shorten it a little, like we'll make it smaller than the 3 hours, maybe 2. And when they have a craft that was set up for each day. We're going to prepare a craft kit that will be curbside pickup at the studio. So they'll have everything for that week, because I really believe that the families are going to be needing things for the summer, and there's going to be a lot of camps that aren't going to be able to run, but we've proven that we can do this. If we can get into the studio, we will get into the studio, but I'm going to have, similar to you, Pam, too, like the 2 options to keep that going. I mean, we have an Aladdin camp, and this might be an opportunity to see how we can pull off a recital, right? Because they'll be learning choreography and singing in their home. I can only imagine how fun that will be. And if we can get small groups to the studio, we're going to do it. I think that they need things to look forward to. So my word this year has been pivot in the last, 4 weeks. I'm just pivoting. I'm literally like that pivot we do in the studio. I'm pivoting and adjusting anything that we thought was supposed to be the way it is now different, and I'm determined to make it work. Determined to get there.
Awesome. I want to go one more place. I know I don't want you in any way to have to be definitive, but for our viewers, I'll start with you, Pam. What are you thinking when it comes to recital or year-end performance or the final exclamation point?
Well, this is the tough one, because as studio owners, recital is like our baby, and it's the thing that we look forward to the most and plan for 12 months, right? Recital gets over, and the next day I'm sad because it's over, but then the next day I start planning the next one. So, I have that one whole day of sadness, and then it's like, okay, it's time for the next recital. Let's start planning. So we have decided to do our recitals virtually. Our recital is supposed to be June 13th and 14th, and we're not able to get into our school. They canceled our recitals on Saturday. And so they called and said, you don't have your dates, and if our school gets to open, you don't get to come and reschedule. So there's no option for me to go to a school. So that's unfortunate. So we are going to do ours virtually, and I'm going to, in our dress rehearsal, record each class, and I'm going to put together a montage recital video with some extras, and I'm going to do that as a special wow and make a watch party for each recital, and then do virtual recitals for the kids. I'm hoping at the end of summer to pull off live performances with small groups of kids, but I'm going to use my summer program to anchor those. So I'm going to tell them it's a way for them to use their costume, but they have to register for this class, and it will help them get into a show in the summer. Because since Illinois is locked down until at least June 1st, it just makes it impossible for us to have a live show in the summer. So we're going to go virtual.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
I have a non-dance question. Is Illinois on the way up as far as cases go, or on the way down?
Well, it depends on where you are. In our county, we've had very few occurrences, but we are in the state of Chicago. So unfortunately in Chicago, they have a lot of cases. And so we're all just being lumped together in Illinois. And so if they would go county by county, we probably would be open and have a class, because we are in a small town and we haven't had very many occurrences here in our town at all, or in our county either. So unfortunately, we're in a bad situation because of Chicago.
I get it. I understand that. In Massachusetts, we're the 3rd highest cases, but it is concentrated more in the Boston area than, let's say, Western Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I can understand that frustration, but I also think we all need to be safe.
And I think for me, we're going to make it as much of a wow as we can. So we sat today and brainstormed a bunch of wows that we can do for everybody because of that. And so I think pulling out a bunch of wows will make it hurt a little bit less. But
I wanted to ask you, what's an individual virtual recital? Like a class going virtual? Did you say individual virtual recitals?
no, we're going to do it where their whole class will be on their Zoom, and their parents will be there to watch their kid perform. And
together or individually?
Well, they're together on the screen, but they're individual in their home.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify.
I
Yeah.
know it's kind of like, it's the best of the worst, I think. But when we do the dress rehearsal and we record them all together, then that would be them all on the screen together
I love
as
it.
a class. And then we're just going to stream it together so it looks like a recital.
Don't
That's right.
don't
Yeah.
question yourself. I
I
love
know,
the
but
concept.
It's one of those things where it's just so like, it's really what's going to happen.
I think the kids and the parents and all of us, by the time we get there, are just gonna feel like it was a victory.
I hope so.
I
I mean,
hope
we're
so.
planning a big parade where they can stop and do recital pictures at a step and repeat at the studio and pick up a goodie on their way before they do their rehearsal or the recital. So we're planning a lot of steps along the way to keep it still as exciting as we can, and some in-person piece.
What are you thinking, Nadine, when it comes to the show?
I'm thinking, I'm kind of back and forth with my ideas, but at this time, I'm hoping to do probably something similar to Pam, if we can't be in the building, but I'm looking like more fall. And I mean, at that point, to be honest, a lot of my recreational students, like, they probably won't really be remembering anything that they did in terms of a routine, nor will I expect them to do that. So if we can get even in small groups in the studio, then I will have something, we'll put something together that they'll have to show. And I'm looking at either doing that in the studio if it's a small group. If not, I'm going to use Zoom. I think that even just, I've seen amazing things happen with my competition team, them all rehearsing like 35 kids. It's I think you can pull it together. If we can be in the building and I can have a very small grouping, then I would have that class videoed and I would create a recital video from that. Or look at something, an outdoor setting that they could be doing things in. But it's tricky because it's really dependent on what the restrictions are going to be. But I will give them something. I think a montage is probably the way that I'm looking as well. And what a memory that will be.
And it's a montage of video that they will carry with them for life.
Yeah.
And you're going to put an exclamation point with this awesome new way to do a show.
Yeah.
I really want our viewers to know that it's not the quality or how well the kids remember their choreography. This is the year where that could be the least it's ever been. It's about putting on that costume and playing the music and parents smiling and kids feeling the joy. That's what this show is all about. And we may be doing it 6 feet apart from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But
How amazing would it be too if you had them all learn the same choreography from little guys up to big, and they do it in their classes, and you see the, something that we as a studio, one song, one big, almost like a finale or opening number type feel.
I could just interject. We're going to do that. We're going to do a kind of a finale too. We're all in this together, and we're going to teach it to all the classes. Yeah.
I love it.
We're going to do the same thing, the virtual recital, and I definitely want to talk to Pam a little bit more about her extra wows, or you too, Nadine. What are your little extra wows that you want to add to it?
I'll go after Pam right now. Give me a couple of extra wows, my friend.
Who, for me?
Yes.
Okay. So some of the things that we talked about is doing the, like, at the studio, doing the parade where the kids can come. We have some hearts and stars that we're putting up on the windows. So we're asking all the kids to come and find their heart and take a picture. And then we'll have the step and repeat up so they can take their picture. And then we've got some goodies that they can take. Our theme was make your own magic this year. So we are making our own magic in lots of ways, more ways than we had expected to make. So we have some fun little magic things that we picked out to give the kids anyway. So we're going to have those there for them. We're going to do some wows with sending home, like mailing home little goodie packs. Since we're going to do the watch party thing, we thought like packs of popcorn to send as the wow, so they can, and it be in an envelope that says don't open until show day. So then when they open it, then there's a little thing about sitting there and eating their popcorn while they watch their movie that they're going to get to watch, the watch party. So just things like that to keep it kind of going. We're going to do the dress rehearsal where we record, but nobody's going to know that's going to happen until later. So no parents will know we've recorded and put this movie together. So that will be something that comes later. So we're also trying to look at between when we charge tuition and when we don't. So we have to tell them some things, and then we have to charge tuition, and then we have to do other things. So we need to keep them still wanting to come to dance. So we have some wows each week that will build up until the final like big watch party that we do. We're trying to do it where it goes, our virtual goes viral. So we're going to do some fun things to try to figure out how virtual becomes viral. And so we're going to do some contests to see how many people can get it shared or liked or commented or something like that to make it go viral and give prizes to those kids that made it go as viral as they can. For our seniors, we're going to do a senior send-off party. So in probably the first week of August, it'll be when we'll be able to assemble. And we're going to do it where we're going to let them have their cap and gown to have a graduation. And instead of a diploma, they're going to get an envelope of love notes from all of their team and classmates.
Good idea.
We're going to do a dance where they can wear their prom dresses in this part, so a little costume change, so they still get like the little prom effect, and do some small shows for them and do just a big highlight. So we've been putting together video reels of all our senior kids, so we can do a big video reveal of their time at the studio as a big wow for them because they've all been with us such a long time. And so we just keep looking at like where can we create the wow. With our music students, we're doing virtual watch party music lessons for them, our music recitals for them. So we're just looking at each way and how can we wow the parents instead of just saying, here, just log in and watch your child play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Let's make it as magical as we can. So we just keep working on bringing in as much magic as we can. So
I love it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what our dance teacher creativity is all about. We can do this. We can make it so that everything feels special.
yeah.
Because we are artists. We are creative. We've never had to think this way.
Right.
But imagine how smart and how resourceful we are going to be down the road. We're not going to need nearly as much to put on a show or to do anything. All right, I want to take you somewhere else. Viewers that are watching, you guys look like, wow, we're on it. I want you to tell our viewers how your roller coaster ride really is. Share with us some of your, I'll call it last couple weeks and the roller coaster. Lisa.
We've had, changes in attendance that everybody, and then down by 6 kids and then up again. And that's with all levels, both competitive and, recreational students. I think the more you engage with them, the more you ask them to come close to the screen, the more you say their name and ask them to do a particular step or to fix something, make a correction, the more engaged they become. Sometimes you literally have to ask Susie to get up off the couch, because she decided to sit way back away from the camera and sit on the couch and like, come on, Susie, join us, for the jumping bean song, whatever it is, because she's sitting down. So, that's the reality. But sometimes the kids are just, if the song works, the piece of choreography works, they're in it 100%, and you just have to keep making it fun and personal.
How are you staying up personally?
Ask me that again. How am I staying?
How do you stay up in all of this personally?
Oh, yeah.
That was really the original question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I have taken to cooking a little bit more, so that's good. But I rely on my team. They are my angels. I can call them anytime. They can call me anytime. 2 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, whatever, and bounce off, ideas off them. They've all been really willing to jump in and take on some of the technology that I'm just like, I can't do all this, guys. you know. So yeah, I really think they've kept me up, and my family's healthy, God bless. So, you know, so that's a big plus. I don't have to worry about that.
So you're finding things to be grateful for.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah. And take a walk outside in the fresh air.
I'm with you on that one. Pam, what's the ride been like, the emotional ride over this journey?
Oh man, I mean, you know, I'm a super emotional person anyway. So when this first went down, I was just like, it was really difficult to handle because you want to do the right thing for your people. You want to keep your business open. It was really important for me to keep going because I have such a great team that many of them rely on this as their only income.
Yeah.
So I felt a huge responsibility to make it happen. So right away, I just grabbed my inner circle team and I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And this is the plan. And they were like, let's go. And it was like guns a-blazing. Let's make it happen. We called our teachers in before we actually officially closed and pre-recorded 3 weeks of classes. So we launched that website within 24 hours of 3 weeks of pre-recorded classes. And then that felt like a huge win because we're like, here, we're going to do this stuff and it's awesome. And then then we had spring break. So they had the classes to do and we had spring break to build our whole Zoom, virtual reality, everything. And that felt good. And we were riding that high pretty well. I spent every day with the teachers and I developed a whole curriculum of how to teach on a virtual platform because none of us has ever done it before. But the only person that could really figure it out, I felt like was me. So because I had been teaching the longest of everyone. And so I did that and broke it up into 5 days for the teachers. And through it, it felt good and it felt scary because they would come back with some objections and whatnot. But I think for me, it's been quite a roller coaster. And I feel like the best that's happened to me is I just really take time to take care of myself every day. And I stay on a schedule. And any day that I say I'm in bed and I don't want to get up because I'm like, oh, I don't really have to be at my desk by 8, it's fine. I always regret that decision because I don't feel like I can get anything done. And I feel like my wheels are coming off my train too. So I get up at the same time every day. I work out, I eat healthy, I get outside every day. I make sure I do some kind of continuing education to just feed my brain something positive. And then I take some of that and I share it with my team and I share it with our community page of Facebook of all our families of some perspective. I call it Pam's perspective and I date it. And I just talk about whatever I learned and how it's feeling for me and how they might be feeling. And I relate it to either my teachers, my staff, or my parents. And it's helped me feel better because it's like, this is how I'm feeling. And then the parents are like, oh my gosh, that's how I feel too. Thanks so much for sharing that. So I think in this, I've tried to stay even by giving back and helping as many people as I can. And that's helped me kind of not be like such an emotional mess. The recital's been the hardest piece for me to handle. So that I'm still not 100% about that one, but I just tried to stay as positive as I can and inspire as many people through it all. And I think that's what's helped me be okay. I'm not going to lie, when I go to the studio to pick up the mail or just check on things, I get just a huge amount of sadness because it's just this big empty building that is like not being used for anything. So that's been emotional for me, but I think, just trying to help everybody through kind of raises me up to a higher thing that I feel like if I'm not there leading the charge, then we're all just going to crumble. And I rely on some of my studio owner friends that are dealing with the same thing. So if I feel like I can't handle it, there's like 3 or 4 of my buddies that I call and I can just let go. But to my team, I've never been like, we can't do this. I never sit there and be like, I don't know what we're going to do when I feel sad. But to a few buddies, I can do that. And so then to my team, I can be like, you guys, we have this. It's going to be totally fine. Let's just focus. So
I love it.
Like Nadine said, I've used the word pivot about 1 million times. It's time to pivot and do something new.
And listen, we could talk in 3 days and Pam, I could say, what are you thinking about your show? And you'll tell me something different. It is how everybody is operating right now.
Yeah.
So, final words to encourage, before I go there, Nadine, I missed you on that question. Tell me about the emotional side.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not going to say that it hasn't been really hard. I think for me, I've always, you know, we are these leaders, and we are, you know, this person who is a role model to so many kids. Parents put so much trust in us, and we always have a plan together. So when this first rolled out in Ontario, I thought the first 2 weeks, okay, you know what, it's 2 weeks, we can get through it. Then when I started to realize this is going to be a long-term thing, I put a plan together, and I actually had a Zoom meeting with my competitive parents. So I had 100 people, and I provided to them, this is what I'm going to do. This is what the month of April is going to look like. This is how the next couple of weeks is going to be. You know, I wanted to assure them that I had a plan, even though every day it's a moving target and we're not sure where that is. I think one of the hardest things for me has been able to just be able to adapt to the constant changes and understand that I can't fix everything. But if I'm doing my best and I feel that, you know, I'm giving my all, they're going to stay with me. I think I want to keep that community, and I want them to keep that trust and faith that they've always had in me. You know, there's days where I cry and I just, you know, you want to fix everything. And then you come on, you know, one night and you see the kids dancing and you're like, this is magic. How did we do this? A year ago, if someone said I would be running my studio online, I never would have believed it. I would have said, you're crazy. But I think the uncertainty and the unknown for everybody is really what we struggle with, right? I love to plan ahead, but I'm having to kind of lose some of the control and just take, you know, week by week. But also keeping that positivity going. My teachers have been awesome. They've thanked me 1,000 times, you know, like I got to give them strength too, right? But, you know, I want to be standing at the end of this. I want to say, you know what, maybe there's things I lost along the way, but look what I've learned. And I think, you know, we're teaching the kids, we're teaching the parents and everybody to be resilient, and we're human. We're allowed to have good days and bad days. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, this is my 7th year. So, you know, it's probably different when you've had a bit more experience, but not really, right? The one thing I'm so grateful for is this dance community, because I don't think if I didn't have everybody, you've really helped me. This platform has just been amazing. Amazing.
I noticed that Pam and Lisa just laughed when you said what you said about only 7 years or whatever. Why'd you laugh at that?
It's still a new experience for all of us, no matter how many years. We've never been in this before, so this is totally new.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though you feel like you've been through everything, none of us have been through this. And so no matter how long you've owned your studio or owned your business or done anything, it's new for everyone. Like you said, every day it's like a moving target, and every day we're just changing and adapting. And so, yeah,
And hurdling over roadblocks that may come our way.
Yeah.
Or diverting them, heading in a different direction, because what seems right now. I think you'll agree with me on this. The most important thing is that we appear to be leaders who are doing the right thing for the kids, and that we will get them on a stage, and that we will keep them dancing no matter what. And building that community with our students where, yeah, we teach them dance, but they get excited at the end of the Zoom class to just like touch your hand on the screen.
Or do high fives like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my final question. What would you say to somebody out there who is struggling and kind of feeling like they don't know if they can do this, but they're passionate about dance? Lisa.
Well, that quote that I said, right? That don't downgrade your dream, upgrade your skills. So if you can dig down deep, find help anywhere, watch every YouTube video you can to learn how to, you know, Zoom or live stream or any skill that you need to learn, reach out to these communities like yours, and get back in, get back in the game. Don't let it go. We're going to get out of this at some point, and use all that creativity and that passion that you have to keep your community together, to give your students all the love that you want to give them. Don't stop, persevere. That's our dance lessons, right? Life lessons, dance lessons equal life lessons.
I think that's a Joe Tremaine quote right
Yeah,
there.
our discipline, our perseverance, our get back in the game and try it again. You fall down, you get up, you do it again. Like, we just have to keep going, because the kids, they need us. They need the connection, and they need dance. Dance is just love. It's everything.
Wow. I love the way you said that. Pam, encouragement.
I would just say to just remember why you started doing what you were doing, and think about that, because sometimes the days get hard and you have to stop and remember, like, why did you want to start teaching dance? Then why did you want to open your own studio? And if you can't get back to that, then it's really hard. So I think get back to that, and then jump in a class with little kids. And even if you're not the teacher, jump in and watch the joy that happens in that, and that gives you enough fuel to keep going. And I think just the more you can have an attitude of gratitude and just only focus on the things that you can control, and let go of the things that you can't. Because for me, I am much of a control freak. So this situation has been difficult because I can't control many things. And so every day I say to myself, what can you control? I can control what I put in my face. I can control if I work out, and I can control my attitude. Those are the three things I can control, and everything else is up in the air. So I just know I can only control those things. And so my attitude is important. And I think just keep doing what you're doing. And if you need to reach out to other studio owners, do that, because if anybody understands what we're going through, it's studio owners. And thank goodness we aren't basketball coaches, because we couldn't do our job.
Right.
You're right. I think that about swimming coaches, and yeah, we're lucky. We have a profession we can continue doing. Nadine, words of wisdom.
Well, I'm on Pam's wavelength. I think that remembering what made you start, and I think it's an incredible thing that this is our job, but it's actually our passion. So I think when you're passionate about something, it really changes the way that you look at things. And I've always said that. Even I get on the stage at recital, and I always say that. But I think finding that moment when you realize that this was a dream to fulfill, and or remember that moment of a moment in your teaching career that just was that aha moment when you thought, this is why I do what I do, and this is why I love doing what I'm doing. Keeping that sense of, that hope in the back of your mind, right? And knowing that everybody is struggling with certain things. Even as I sit here, there's things that are in the back of my mind that I'm worrying about, but I think it's just finding that original place and keeping connected as a community. And you'll get through it, right? Reaching out when you need to reach out, but it's kind of going back to where you started from, right? And then just building from there, rebuilding. And
I'm with you on that one, because look how smart we are when we have the chance to rebuild. All the things that were hard to break away from or to change before, we can make all those changes right now.
mm-hmm.
With our businesses, our schools, our policies. This is the time a lot of people have been waiting for. I look at it as we're going to come out fresh, new, ready to go. New people, new studios, new goals, and maybe even more appreciation for just the art of dance and not how good everyone is. What do you think of that final word there?
Yes, it's very true.
You guys, thank you so much for sharing your life with dance teachers from all over the world. We're in this together. We are going to come out on the other side, as we said earlier, stronger, that's for sure, and smarter, that's for sure. Let's appreciate what we do have, Thank you all, ladies, for
Thank
being
you.
Thank you.
here.
Thank you, Ree.
And we'll see you again soon.
High fives,
High fives.
jazz hands.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ray.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay well, everyone.
You too. Yeah.
Okay, that was, oh, she's gone.
Oops.
Am I still recording?
Did you want us to stay or are we gone?
No, actually, I didn't know that she was going to go, but now I'm not sure what I'm doing. Hang on. Record. I think we stopped. Thank you.
Thank you, Ree.
Thank you. It was great.
Thank,
Thanks
Nice
for all
Friday.
you're doing.
have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Bye now. Be well.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you later tonight.
Okay.